What's up, everybody, and welcome back to ITG Daily. I am Drew, and that is Scott Savage. Scott, what is happening today, my friend?
Oh, we're back from a nice long weekend, and happy Easter to all who celebrate. And that was an interesting little break from the show here, so I'm happy to get back into it. Let's talk some games.
Yeah, we definitely had a bit of a break. It was weird taking that time off, man. It was nice, though. It was fun. It was relaxing, and I played a lot of games. You play much over the weekend?
Oh, yes. I dipped back into some old favorites from back in the day, and now I'm all psyched up for a long week of gaming again.
That's awesome. Yeah, I played jumped into Last Oasis, some Outriders. Outriders we'll be touching on here in a little bit. Last Oasis, Nate sent me a clip. Dude, he got wrecked by some group that rolled up on him. But either way, let's get things started, because this is your ITG Daily, where we bring you the hottest in the gaming news from the industry for April 5th. We have Titanfall is back. Sony Japan is shutting down and losing people. And, well, there's a whole lot more to get going. So before we get started, Scott, this is a new time for us because we're starting every day now at 11 a.m. Eastern. You can find us on podcast services around the world, InsideTheGame.ca, and of course you can be a part of the show by submitting your questions live to us on twitch.tv/theofficialitg or our Discord at ITG Daily. Scott, why don't you get things started, because this is all about you.
This is a little more my area, being a little bit of a Apex Titanfall crossover news event that has me really excited. I'm of course into the battle royale genre, just as everybody else is. Apex is a standout for me, but something I've been away from for a little while. But that is not going to last long, as there is some interesting news associated with the Season 9 update. They are bringing in aspects of Titanfall with that update. Now, let's get into what the news is surrounding this and why people think that this is imminent. Now, there was a panel featuring a lot of the Respawn developers, and this featured one senior writer, Ashley Reed, and she is the senior writer of Apex, and she talked about the relationship between Titanfall and Apex and how they're going to meet going forward from this point on. And what's going on in Titanfall is war, she says. Apex is what happens after the war. Like, what is life like in this place? Reed explained. So we're trying to integrate Titanfall into that, because Titanfall is very much a part of the universe. Now, that's really exciting for me, because I've known they've been tied, but this starts to explain the relationship between the two. Right. They're in the same universe, but not the same time frame, and that kind of makes sense. So next season, Season 9, she says, you're actually going to see a lot of Titanfall coming back into the game one way or another. I've told some people before, if you're a Titanfall fan, hang on for Season 9, because there's going to be some really cool stuff in there. But Grenier did not get into the specifics of what is coming in this exact season. However, this is a lot of speculation is going into this. People are wondering, is this going to be just Titans joining the map? Is it going to be some set pieces? Perhaps wall running will return and more mobility kind of things from Titanfall. There's a lot that could be added in this update. I'm very curious to see what they actually shake the game up with.
Absolutely. Do you think we're going to get a new map, Scott?
Oh, I'm not 100% sure, because the map is such a sacred object to some players.
Sure it is, but at the same time, if you start adding wall running in, the maps right now are not meant to have that wall running feature, I would say, right? Like, you're not meant to do that. It's an open space, it's a battle royale. So when you went into Titanfall multiplayer, it's a little bit smaller. Obviously, the map is much smaller, but it's meant for those tight corridors as well. So you can get in there and you can hit that wall running and then move on to the next platform. Wonder how they're going to shake that up. Do you think I think if they're going to bring Titanfall, that Titanfall-esque feel, it's something I've been waiting for a very long time. And I'm surprised it's taken 9 seasons to get to this point. Will they be dropping Titans? Will we get Titans? Is my kind of main question, I think, at this point. Lithrin joins us in chat and says she's so excited. Absolutely, Chelsea.
There's one possibility where instead of full Titans or everybody has access to Titans, perhaps there will be a new legend character added to the roster, and that is their ability for a short time. But it's unclear how that would work or balance really. Current characters.
I would think we'd be getting a new champion to join the field somewhere. Someone from the Titanfall series. You think we could get that crossover? They have lots to work with here, Scott.
Yes, in Titanfall 2, they do a very deliberate segment of introducing all these different mercenaries and captains and people who run these squads. So as long as the war in Titanfall wasn't something like hundreds of years prior to Apex, you could absolutely get a lot of those characters crossing over, and they would be really cool.
What about seeing like the son of or the daughter of one of those heroes from the past kind of thing? That way, now as the war has gone on and maybe as it's ended, Apex has taken over. Okay, so then those heroes from Titanfall have maybe passed on and whatever, but they were passed on to a new generation. So their kids are coming up within the ranks of Titanfall, because we've seen that in the Apex Legends, because we've seen that happen as well. So I'm curious to see if anything like that will tie in at all.
Could very well be, and it would still be exciting. The war would still have very real consequences to these people, and it would be a way of bringing that into the game.
Yeah, definitely fascinating and long overdue, I think, at this point, because we've all been fans of Titanfall and wanted some of that Titanfall-esque feel. We've had the creatures and things in the background kind of going on, but we've never had that big Titanfall touch, I think, that I've been looking for. And dude, my other question is, when is this coming to mobile? I know not a lot of people want it on mobile. I like it on the mobile platform because I feel like I stand a chance, because when I'm in this game, dude, those bullet sponge people are just eating up my bullets and I'm dying too much.
Yeah, it is a cutthroat scenario.
Absolutely. Let's move on to Sony Japan, as they are restructuring and their leads are, leaving. It's unfortunate that Sony Japan Studios' ongoing restructure has led to a mass exodus of the developers behind key PlayStation titles like Demon's Souls, Gravity Rush, Bloodborne, and The Last Guardian. Everybody's switched over now. They're going into the Astro's Playroom developer, ASOBI, who will be taking the charge for the Japan studio, but they've lost key developers in doing so. And they're, like I said, lost people from Gravity Rush, Demon's Souls, and of those titles. So Gavin Moore took to Twitter, after 24 years at Sony and 18 of those in Japan, yesterday was my last day at Japan studio. I will miss the great creative spirit and camaraderie of the studio that was a huge part of my life. That, dude, is a huge change. 24 years in one company is a very long time, and now they've lost that developer. Curious to see what happens now. They're restructuring. Nate had a good point, as we talked last week about BioWare, and how maybe sometimes the restructure is not necessarily a bad thing. Maybe this is good to get some new blood in there with some high energy and some new point of views on how they can readjust things. But Gravity Rush, not the biggest title around by any means. Demon's Souls, huge though. Like, Scott, What are your thoughts here?
Well, just as Nate, kind of made that point, I feel like I have the inverse kind of thought. Sure. Where it might not be a negative thing in terms of other companies, especially if it's a mass exodus. All of these people aren't going to stop making video games, presumably. No. I'm sure they would find some sort of equatable position somewhere in another company, and hopefully they bring their 24 years of experience with them. That could really kickstart a lot of other developers rising to the AAA standard, and maybe there'll be a lot of really nice spin-off ideas that they weren't necessarily able to work with in the Sony development, but now are more free in a different environment. I'm trying to be positive with it
That's
in
fair.
that manner.
Yeah.
Because of course this is unfortunate in a lot of regards. These people have been in this company for so long and all these giant projects and quite a diverse amount of projects. You talk about Gravity Rush to Bloodborne to Demon Souls. It's
Yeah, Last Guardian was in development hell, I would say. That one took years. They announced it way too early, and then it struggled to see the light of day. So at that same point, then maybe that's why I said going forward, a new face that would lead that studio could be a good and a positive change. But at the same time, someone who leaves Demon Souls behind on the team is kind of or even Bloodborne for that matter. You know, some of their top tier titles on the PlayStation is hard to lose, man. That's hard to swallow, those games.
It makes me a little nervous for what their sequels or, you know, extra DLC content is going to look like now. But
yeah,
these games are so solid, they so far stand alone.
No, for sure. Let's stick with the PlayStation side, as Gran Turismo 7 has been confirmed as one of the upcoming PS5 games, and the series states that it will return to form for fans of the classic series. PlayStation 5 had an interview with Octane Japan and translated from the Gran Turismo fan site, while inheriting elements from such as the FIA Championship realized in sport. Gran Turismo 7 will return to the royal purpose of full volume like Gran Turismo 1 to 4 and provide the best Gran Turismo experience at present. So that's coming at 8K. They had an 8K demo. You can actually play this on the new PlayStation VR headset, so the sequel to the PlayStation VR. So you get that over the PS VR 2, which is cool to see. Scott, are you a fan of the GT series at all?
I am not firsthand very familiar with GT. I played the Project Gotham Racing on the Xbox side, but that was my big foray into more of a simulator kind of racing experience. But the idea of Gran Turismo, now I know they're known for graphic capabilities
absolutely,
and realism and attention to detail. So I'm excited. Imagining that with a PlayStation VR on, like that could be mind-blowing.
Absolutely. There's no official release date, as the game has been delayed due to COVID-19 as that continues on. Slows things down, but it's been a change. Definitely anybody who's looking forward to the next Gran Turismo series, then here it is, but it's not no date yet, which is unfortunate. Scott, let's go with the Sony Xbox crossover, because we took the holiday last week, and on Friday, what did they do? They announced that MLB The Show 21 is coming to Game Pass. Take a moment right there. Dude, take a moment right there. First of all, shocked that it even comes to Xbox at all, right? They want to expand their library. They want to expand their reach. And Xbox fans are starving at this point for a good baseball sim over there. MLB The Show out of San Diego Studios is top tier, the best, I would state, right now as far as a baseball game goes. Okay, cool. They're able to get it over there on Xbox. Fantastic. Now they're bringing it to Game Pass. Dude, how does that even work? So here it goes. As we said from the beginning, this is an incredible moment for all of us, and bringing the franchise to more players and baseball fans in something that we at MLB and MLB Players Inc. and Xbox are excited about. So this isn't PlayStation. This is the MLB bringing it over. They're the ones publishing it on the Xbox side, not Sony. Sony has nothing to do with this, from what I can gather, which makes it incredible, because that allowed them then to bring it to Game Pass. So if you have, let's look at this, Scott. If you're an MLB fan and all you have is PlayStation, you're now spending $80. If you have an Xbox, why wouldn't you get it over there with Game Pass? If you already own Game Pass, dude, isn't that the way to go?
Yeah, that is a bit of a thumb in the eye
to
Sony, I think. Including it on Game Pass is just, we've spoke about how many people are on Game Pass nowadays. It's high in the millions.
It's like 20 million monthly users over there on Game Pass.
Well, MLB must be, following their nose to where the money is and where the most consumers are going to be. So I guess that's a bit of a measuring stick.
I would say
for the industry right now, if they're going to flip and go Xbox side, that's kind of revealing to me a little bit.
Absolutely. Like so, San Diego is they're owned by PlayStation, so they produce the game MLB The Show every single year, but it's always been PlayStation exclusive. Now it's gone, like I said, over to the Xbox. But to get it on Game Pass was just jaw-dropping to think that they even were able to do that. Now, I don't imagine it's going to stick around there very long. So what they want to do is probably build up fans over there, finally, who have been starving for this game, get them in there for 3, 4, maybe even 6 months, and then bail the game out. Because once you dive into a game like MLB The Show, there's so many game modes, but you typically grab one game mode, and that's what you focus on. You grind that out. So you'll be there for a very, very long time, Scott. And then all of a sudden now, if you're 3 months in and realize that your game is now leaving Game Pass, they just bought that. So they have you on the subscription side, plus they give you a 30% discount, and then you just bought the game as well. So Xbox is raking in over there, man. Yeah,
and even if it's just 5-10% of the people with Game Pass that check it out and get interested, that's 5% of 18 or 20 million is still a lot of people.
Absolutely. It's a ton of people to have some way now playing MLB The Show, which is great. And it supports cross-play between PlayStation and Xbox, which is even better now, right? So it opens up things pretty substantially to see that come around. Scott, Vita still lives? Vita games are actually still in development right now as we speak. We talked about this to death, the fact that they're shutting down PlayStation 3, PlayStation Vita, and PSP stores. We all know that. But who didn't know that were actually some of the developers that were working on the game. They found out when we did. This is not cool. So Lily Mo Games founder Barry Johnson said he didn't receive any notice from Sony about the Vita's store planned closure prior to the public news. Because of this, its next unannounced game will have its Vita version canceled. The studio requested information from Sony and were met with silence.
Oh.
Ouch. Dude, what is happening there? You think you'd at least give somebody a heads up who's building a game for your platform that, hey, you know what, this just isn't working, we're going to close it down. So that was from an article over at IGN. They were speaking with Barry about that. And then Miguel Sternberg took to Twitter as well. He is working on a game called Russian Subway Dogs. And he said, so he's been kind of posting over there what's happening. Update regarding the recent rumors of the PlayStation Vita store closing. I'm looking into finding out what the deal is and what sort of deadline there is for a final game submissions. However, until I know more, the PS Vita version is not canceled. Clearly, there is a very real possibility I won't have it finished in time, but I'm going to try my best. So yeah, he said update. It looks like there's a small window to submit games for the platform, so I'm going to hustle and try my best to hit it. Like, they're finding out the same day we were, Scott.
That is not the level of organization I would expect from a massive multinational corporation like Sony to just kind of blindside everybody like that. And this is two examples of development projects still in the works, but I can't imagine there was a huge number further of developers. So,
yeah.
You think you could have ran down the short list and let everybody know.
You would think. I'm surprised people were still developing for the platform at all. It's cool to see, but yeah, as Nate said in the chat, ball dropped here, unfortunately, by PlayStation to do this to the developers. They are not seeming too developer friendly within the industry right now, which is bad to see. It was when they launched the PlayStation 4, it was all indie showcase, and that's what they strived on, especially on the Vita platform. That was an indie haven over there for that unit. That console was incredible. It had so many indie developers just launching one game after another over there, and it got its spotlight. So to see that games were still being developed there are games being developed on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox, and then brought over to the Vita. Cool. But now, like, they have to cancel their Vita version because they didn't know about it. That was just weird.
And that's bad news, especially if you're a smaller development company. You've likely spent lots of money developing and lots of time, if nothing else.
Money, resources, management. You got to manage the people that are working on your project. A lot of indie developers are not a big team, but it's still taking time out of their day to work on the Vita version of the game that can no longer exist because the platform's not going to be there to buy.
That is rough.
Man, I don't know. That's I want to see what Sony can do to kind of rectify this and change things. And I don't know, because at one point this was the platform for indies to go to, and now it seems like they're switching a lot of this over to the Xbox side, and Xbox is looking to pick up a lot of the indies and support them. It's funny how each generation kind of goes back and forth between the two. I gotta say, man, I love the competition between Xbox and PlayStation.
It's heating up, and it's easy to see that nowadays. More recently, like, oh, there's a lot of big moves happening. What do you think is going to happen out of the Vita scenario? Do you think Vita 2 is a possibility?
No, I don't think we'll see a Vita 2. That would have been fantastic. But you saw, oh man, it's funny because I thought of that too, right? Because I wonder if that is a possibility at all. You saw the rise of the Switch. We're getting Switch Pro or whatever version that is. The handheld market right now is owned by mobile and Nintendo. When it comes to console, Nintendo owns it, and they own it all. What happens for PlayStation? They tried the Vita. I think they dipped their toes in it. They never really truly supported it enough to keep it going. And that's where the thing died. And that's where they left it. Dude, they left it, and now they're just shutting it down. And I don't think we'll ever see a PlayStation Vita 2. Would it be cool? Absolutely, to see that on the go. You see Microsoft doing xCloud, right? So you can play new games. Dude, you could take MLB The Show 21 on the cloud now.
Yeah, the possibilities in today's technology really just open up the door.
Yeah.
What do you think about an Xbox possible Vita?
No.
I know it wouldn't be called that, but
I don't think so, because they have focused so heavily into the xCloud that's where they're going to go. That their portable market version is xCloud, allowing you to take the game wherever you want to go on your Android device, not iOS, Android, right? So
that's true. They're working into the phone hardware specifically, it seems.
Yeah, no, absolutely. ITG Parker says Nintendo and xCloud are taking the mobile market. Absolutely. They're owning it right now, and PlayStation has nothing to do with it. So it seems like this generation, PlayStation started off so hard with PlayStation 4. PlayStation 5 comes around, and now you're starting to see Xbox kind of climb the ranks a little bit and maybe even surpass them. It may not be that in the viewership mind, but to look at the industry from the inside, dude, it seems like Xbox is taking the lead.
Yeah, at least they're moving confidently, as if they have the lead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Who I don't think is very confident right now, Scott, is E3. They're going for a digital showcase that will be free, with more information coming soon. A spokesperson for the ESA told GameSpot, "We've been hard at work to deliver a free experience to everyone interested in E3 2021, and we're excited to share further details soon." Dude, what is the future of E3 do you think look like? Because I don't think it's very good.
It's hard to say, but it doesn't seem very positive. I believe this is the second year now that would be a digital E3 event, and
Ouch.
I mean, they have to preserve the tradition in some manner, otherwise it would not likely survive. But I don't think this is the standard that everybody wants to keep going forward. We've spoke about it already, wanting to go back to these conventions and larger kind of events. I'm really hoping E3 stays long enough to return.
I don't know what's going to happen with the future of E3. Everybody seems to be pulling out of it. That's the biggest thing, right? Like, PlayStation doesn't attend it. Xbox isn't really there either. They put on their own showcases. EA is gone. That's the biggest thing. You always went there. E3 is like Christmas for gamers. Problem is, now it's just changing the form of how the formula is going to run with E3, and that we don't see the heavy hitters in there. They put on their own thing for the E3 week. That's what we wait for now, is the E3 week and not necessarily E3. That's what I think.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of things are changing nowadays, so we can't keep everything the same, that's for sure.
No, absolutely, especially with the whole digital front moving in and changing the whole landscape of everything, right? A little PSA for Outriders right now. So we're playing Outriders for review. A lot of people and a lot of others are doing the same thing. They're playing the game as well, but we're having a problem with connection right now. So potential workaround for anyone who is having an issue joining the game, getting stuck at 80%, or getting a spinning Outriders logo. Outriders took to Twitter and had this to say: so from the lobby, do not select continue. Instead, select a starting point and acknowledge, then launch. Well, it's a workaround for now. Hopefully they'll get the servers up and running soon, Scott.
Yeah, because they're aware of it, I have hope that they're working on addressing it, in a more permanent manner. But at least there is some form of shaking that whatever issue is going on, man. Shaking it up and trying again works.
I just want to play the game, dude. We were trying to play last night and we could not connect. We played, I think we connected 4 or 5 times over the course of an hour and a half, and we're disconnected every single time. Yeah, it was rough, but it was so fun when you get into play. I've been playing a single player, but man, the game's meant for co-op, right? So to not be able to get in there and play with your friends and things like that really, I think, hurts the game. So hopefully they can get that sorted out soon. Scott, we're on to game announcements. That was the news for today at 26 minutes into the show. Man, let's keep it going, though. Let's get going with game announcements. Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga delayed indefinitely. That's COVID-19 is taking its toll on another one, Scott. We're down again, buddy. You into the Lego games?
No, I haven't actually played them. I have friends that really do enjoy, and I've been told all about their quality. So I know this is a big deal to some. But
yeah,
I'm unclear of what the Skywalker Saga was supposed to encompass, because I know the games that already exist are very large and fleshed out, and I believe covered most of the Skywalker Saga.
Yeah, the Lego games just don't really, like, my son plays them and then we'll play them together, but that's the extent of what I play for Lego. It's just not something I really get hooked into, collecting all the Lego parts and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I know my kids love them, so yeah, it's there. I know a lot of people do love the franchise, love the series, and Lego does definitely have its own following, so it's cool. Another game which actually caught my eye is an all-new Wild West Battle Royale called Grit. It's announced the beta testing starts today on Steam. It's a Wild West Royale. Saddle a trusty horse and venture across the frontier. Battle 99 other cowboys in solo, duo, and squad fights. There's a perk system, a ride through the West, tools of the trade, and all aboard. Dude, you get out of town on the train. But yo, this
That's cool.
It definitely looks cool. It sounds like we could be playing it this week over on twitch.tv/theofficial_ITG on Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, for our Let's Play this week for the show. So I think we might be jumping in there and seeing how that goes. We'll squad up with 4 of us and see what we can do to get a dub. I don't know how well that'll work, but we can try. Scott, what do you think?
Oh, that sounds exciting. I'm at first I was, cautious about the battle royale genre kicking right off. But
yeah,
the more I see, it's become a little joke of mine. What's next? Pac-Man battle royale, and then it happens. And
dude, it's good. It's good too on Stadia. I played it on Stadia.
Battle royale, welcome. Well, absolutely welcome.
So we are huge fans of Red Dead Redemption 2, and they have an online component, and they have like a little mini battle royale-esque kind of thing with like last man standing sort of scenario, but there's only 8 people in it. So it's not a very large lobby. So to get in here with 99, and it could be an interesting, definitely a good time. We'll have to check it out. As I said, this Wednesday, we'll see how it goes, if the guys and I can get a W or not. But Platinum Games is bringing out a new game, but it has been released for the Apple Arcade. To defeat demons, you must dominate them, Platinum teases in a brief video description. Jump into the mysterious world with Platinum Games' brand new hack and slash World of Demons. I think a lot of people are going to be pretty disappointed to find out the new Platinum game is actually on Apple Arcade. I think it's a great get for Apple Arcade. If you're into that platform, that's fantastic. But a lot of people now are starving, I think, for something from Platinum Games. I still want Scalebound, dude. I know it's canceled. I know they canceled it on the last gen consoles or the Xbox, but I still want that game.
Yeah, it's funny how often Scalebound actually keeps coming back up.
I know.
It's really unfortunate they never got to bring that to light.
Oh, it sucks, man. I really wanted it. That's for sure. It looks so cool.
This is interesting, though. Hopefully they can bring some attention to the Apple Arcade in general, because I feel like it's a very underknown, less out there platform, and it deserves a fair chance just as any other. And hopefully this brings them the attention to really have that stress test.
Yeah, I've jumped in, and I just honestly, I didn't want to pay for another service. It's not a big purchase each and every month, and they have some fantastic games over there, but it's just for me, I can't do another service, man. That's the problem. Let's get into Aircraft Carrier Survival Prologue, out on Steam today. This is a aircraft carrier survival as a simulator set in World War II, in which you take control of an aircraft carrier, its crew, officers, and planes as you choose the right equipment, crew, and escort for each mission. Looks unique. Definitely curious to see how it goes. We might be jumping into this one. We'll see what happens. And last, coming up on the list for new games, Scott, we have Golf Impact on mobile. This May was announced, and it takes a fantastical competitive touch for 1 versus 1 experience in golf. I don't know. We'll see. Buddy, guess what? That is it for today, for April 5th for ITG Daily. Don't forget, you can find us on all podcast services around the world. Of course, InsideTheGame.ca, Twitch.tv/theofficial ITG, YouTube, and other social networks like Twitter and so forth. Scott, thank you for joining us. And until tomorrow, everybody, we will see you inside the game.